Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Welcome to the 27th edition of the Post-Raw Show, and we are firmly on the road to WrestleMania, and golly, this was a newsworthy night.
Oh, absolutely.
And when people ask me why I still watch wrestling, it's nights like this that I can talk about. Definitely. This was one of those shows that was just... It was newsworthy. It was heartfelt. It was genuine. It got us one of those real moments in wrestling that you always look for every now and then. Most times when a real moment happens, there's usually some sort of tragedy associated with it, but not tonight.
Yes.
Mercifully.
Thank goodness.
We had a great segment to set up the main event of WrestleMania with the Triple Threat Women's match, the true main event of WrestleMania, and we had a shocking return. This was absolutely fully loaded as a show. Absolutely fully loaded. Even the in-between stuff wasn't as obnoxious.
No.
Except for the last thing, but we'll talk about that later. But this is one of those shows. Now, in December, we had record-breaking negativity about Raw. Really, really awful. Tonight, it's the opposite. So I remember one time in December. I know you remember this.
I do.
We put up a poll from December, and it was 4% thumbs up and 96% thumbs down. We are at the opposite tonight. We're at 96% thumbs up,
Yay!
4% thumbs down on this show. If you didn't like this show, please turn off our podcast. We won't miss you, and just stop watching wrestling and find something that makes you happy. Seriously, because you need it. You are in a lot of trouble.
Oh, I'm going on a soapbox later, just so you know.
Oh, I know. Because there are actually miserable people out there that were not happy about tonight's show. There is so much news to talk about. Where do we start? Well, how about we start by greeting everybody who is in the chat room?
That's actually a good idea.
I think so. Let's say hi to our...
I can do with that.
Let's say hi to our awesome fan base here. We have a lot of people in the chat tonight. We got... Dirty Doug Lackey in the chat right over here, who was severely punished by Victoria.
I am sorry.
This week,
Doug, are you still mad at me because you didn't respond to me on the Wrestleview media page?
He might have just still had a massive headache from all the shots that he did.
I'm so sorry.
If you didn't get a chance to catch Wrestleview Weekly, I highly suggest catching it on the Rewind, and also catch it live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Fun.
Doug Lackey at the Wrestleview Weekly. I know he's doing more shots because he was wrong about the NXT call-ups, and as Doug says, I don't believe it, but this is just what he says. Doug doesn't know much about pro wrestling, so watch Wrestleview Weekly.
I'm going to say, in fairness,
what a promo.
Okay, but in fairness to me, and I think Doug can actually agree with this, I was very, very sorry, and I was apologetic, and I said to him, your liver is going to be... And I was like, please don't... I was like, I wanted to sign a waiver because I was like, I just, first of all, Miz and Shane, I had to root for Miz and Shane.
Well, hey, okay.
All right, so...
I know. Well, she's a Miz fit. There's no doubt about it.
I'm sorry.
So Doug will be punishing himself again this week, and... I guess it would be like first week of March, like March 10th is or 11th, I can't remember, is the Fastlane is the 11th is the Fastlane pay-per-view. I will be on the Wrestleview Weekly. I will have Doug's liver in my hands. I'm going to inject a lethal dose.
Oh boy.
Of poison.
Oh my goodness.
Me.
I'm actually scared.
And the NWO.
Help me. I
don't know what's going on right now, but I'm just so excited about wrestling tonight.
Somebody help me.
I had a great time tonight on Twitter with Clinton Bowman over here. We had just a blast sharing Macho Man Savage memes. We're just having fun. We have Bobby Strauss in the chat tonight. I don't know if I've ever seen Bobby Strauss in the chat. I don't know if I've ever said his name. Have you? Okay.
I have.
Maybe, was it on the Elimination Chamber one? Or is this...
It was on one of the shows.
Okay. All right. Well,
it might have been either on Wrestleview Weekly or it might have been...
Well, good to have you. Good to have you here, Bobby. Show. We got Michael, Jewel, we got Kit Dyson, we got Jason, who was first in the chat tonight. We got beautiful Louis Veraldi, who is just a monster in the gym. We got Brian Farmer's in the chat tonight. Well, okay, Brian. I don't know. I think this might be Brian's first time joining us. Excellent. Torqueman, Nafis, Sadat. We got them all. We got Billy Hefner, our dear friend, who is directly responsible for all the hits that we get. I know it. We're rocking and rolling.
Where's
right
Quentin?
now. Quentin, I don't see Quentin tonight.
Quentin, where are you?
Do a search party for Quentin. Quentin will. I'm sure he will pop up at some point. Quentin, we miss you. Anyway, let's go. Let's talk about wrestling. Okay, there's like so much stuff to talk about that the only place that we can start is with the biggest news of the night. And no, it is not the fact that Dave Batista has returned to WWE. It is the fact that Roman Reigns came out to kick off the show. Kicks off the show. Roman Reigns comes out and announces that he was swinging for the fences in October, but he did more than that. He hit a home run. His leukemia is back in remission. That was just an unbelievable segment right off the bat to kick off the show. Roman Reigns' music hits, and he comes out to an enormous ovation. You could see just the look of his eyes. He was tearing up. And I know that they showed a really emotional video of him right before he came out, so that probably triggered some emotion too. But the reaction that he got was amazing.
Pure. It was genuine.
It was pure joy.
Yes.
It was pure joy. And I don't know how this guy can ever be booed again. I really don't. It was, I mean, I went the extra mile tonight. I love recapping, and it's nights like this that I love to recap. I recorded word for word everything that he said because you didn't know where it was going to go.
I didn't mind you going back because you were like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, honestly, I'm glad that it's because it's a momental speech, it's a momental time.
Momentous, yeah.
You know what I mean? For him to be out there in front of the crowd and expressing his joy and expressing, his time away and everything and the process of recovery. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely so kudos to you for getting the word for word on the whole segment and everything. So it was just spectacular.
So I'm not gonna read word for word what Reigns said, but there was a lot of thanking the crowd, thanking everybody for the well wishes. He said he misses everybody, and you just didn't know where it was going. He said there was so much. I mean, you knew where it was going because they announced that he was going to be on Good Morning America the next day. So it's going somewhere, and I don't think it's going to be bad if it's going to be on Good Morning America.
I'm glad it was, yeah.
Yeah, he just thanked everybody for all the outreach, and if there was a way to get in touch with him, they found a way to get in touch with him. It was great. And he says that he's now going to use this giant WWE platform that is global and everyone can see, to raise awareness and support those that are in need, just like I was. That was a quote from him. We also, and the big quote was, he said, well, we advertised as an update, so should we give the update? Which was awesome. And he goes, everybody starts chanting WrestleMania pretty much immediately. Because he goes, we did better. He said, when I made my announcement, I said I was going to swing for the fences. We did better than that, y'all. We didn't just swing for the fences. We hit a home run. So when I tell you this, I am so grateful. I am so humbled. I am so honored to announce this. And then they start chanting WrestleMania. He goes, we'll get to that later. The good news is I'm in remission, y'all. And that gave me chills. Really did.
100%.
Really
just
did.
So beautiful.
And as soon as he said, I'm in remission, y'all, and the crowd erupted.
Yeah.
Like I could feel my neck starting to get warm.
I know.
Like I was starting
to get overwhelmed. You can't help it. You can't help how you feel.
Exactly.
You're just feeling a million different things. You're feeling happy. You're feeling sad, and you're feeling like you're excited. You're all over the place.
Right. And then he finally finishes off with, so with that being said, the big dog is back, and the crowd erupts, and they start to bark, which is awesome. And I hope that they continue to do that for him.
Yeah.
Because randomly the crowd chanted "Burn it down," and now that's like Seth Rollins' catchphrase forever.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really, it was just a phenomenal segment. It's like, I was always like, how in the world is Daniel Bryan's retirement segment like an all-time great Raw moment? For me, that's like Daniel Bryan retiring initially was like an all-time tragedy, and like one that is like very difficult to have to relive. Like this is an all-time great Raw moment.
Yes.
In my mind.
Yes.
This is a comeback story.
Yes.
This is unbelievable. And, you know, we're all rooting for Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i. N-O-I. Or,
yeah.
I forgot how to say the there's like a million different ways to
I
say
know,
his last name.
but you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows, okay?
Anoa'i. It's like Anoa'i sounds like bad. You know, I try to find a different way to enunciate it. But you know, like I told Jeff Jarrett when I interviewed him back in September, he's a guy like I love wrestling. I love watching it.
Yeah.
It's an art form to me.
Right.
When it's done right, it's spectacular, and I get invested in not just the matches and the stuff. Like I get invested on the people behind.
Yes.
And I'm invested in Roman Reigns, obviously.
Yes.
You know, I don't wish any ill on the man, and I am just so psyched that he's coming back. Like I told Jeff Jarrett, I was rooting for him when he was going through his stuff, and I'm rooting for Roman Reigns, and he's back.
He came in as Joe. He left tonight as Roman Reigns.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And later on in the night, there's a whole bunch of teases going on, but that's the big news. Roman Reigns is back. And
can I go on a soapbox just for one moment, please? Okay. So I have to stop doing this to myself. I have to stop going to social media and all the different outlets because I do find myself getting angry. And I'm only going to say this once, and I'm only going to address it once because I don't want to anger myself anymore, and because this is a beautiful moment, and I am very, very happy for Roman Reigns. If you are one of those individuals who thought this is a fake diagnosis and this was all work, I will pray for you, because seriously, that is so wrong beyond all recognition. One, Roman Reigns has had this cancer before, so he knows the signs, he knows the symptoms. Two, he has a lot more money to get better oncologists to be able to treat this. Three, he's in better shape. So he's able to, when you're in better shape, you're able to recover a lot quicker than most other people. Four, you don't always lose your hair when you go for treatments. So for everybody saying, oh, this is because he was filming with The Rock, he wanted to get the attention from the fans, Vince derived this whole story for him to get people behind him, and all that. I want you to go away if you're one of those people who are listening right now, and I want you to not follow any of Wrestleview's outlets and whatnot or whatever, because I saw some things on social media that I was floored by and appalled by, and I don't want to take away from the beautiful moment that it was tonight, but if you're one of those individuals, you seriously need to go get help, because what on earth would you think that this man, it is possible for how motivated an individual he is, and obviously he had this cancer before, he knew that he can get into remission, and he got into remission. So, and on that note, I end my soapbox.
Yes, the internet is full of scum and bastards, and somehow they always find our way into our feeds. But like Jamel says, and welcome Jamel, by the way, Victoria, stop wasting energy and precious time on
I know. Folks, no, everyone's right. Like, I do get on to the social media train, and I'm like, oh, I just want to like shake you and say, stop it. What are you doing?
I know.
But I do need to stop myself, because I don't want to take away from anything that I do enjoy.
Right. Ashley asks us, any predictions as to what Roman Reigns is going to announce on Good Morning America tomorrow?
Good question.
I think the way they made it sound, it's just going to be more of his story about how he came up with
how he kind of came about and everything. Now, as far as like his, I loved. I mean, we'll talk about more of that later. What he did with Seth Rollins and helping Dean Ambrose, but I do want him to take it easy a little bit. I don't think
he is.
No, he won't. But, I just don't want him compromising his immune system, obviously. But he's a very healthy guy, and obviously he knows what he's doing. He trusts his body. But I don't want him doing too much too quickly, so.
I don't think they're going to mess with that. I don't think they're going to bring him back with nothing. Without like full clearance.
Yeah, I know.
At full clearance.
I just get like protective. I'm like, no, I know. He's my child. Like, I'm like, no, Roman, it's okay, Joe, just take it, like, ease into it.
Such a girl. And finally, the last awesome moment of this was Seth Rollins' music hits, and he comes out and embraces Roman Reigns after the thing.
Absolutely,
it was just totally awesome. When you think about where they were, just a couple months ago in
know.
October, to the tearful triple fist with the Shield, to like this moment of pure elation. It's just, that's everything that I love about
He's
wrestling.
A true fighter.
He's everything I love about wrestling.
Exactly. And what I love about Roman Reigns is he's a prime example. If somebody who stays positive during a really, really tough situation and a really hard time in your life, things will get better though. If you keep that
treat something head on, you get it.
If you keep that I am a firm believer that positivity goes a long, long way in any type of, especially when you have some sort of illness. I really do. So
yep.
He really is a role model and influential.
Yeah. Crash. They are the alt-right, or as I like to say, the alt-idiots. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, it's just great way to kick off the show.
Great way to open up a show.
Great way to kick off the show. Let's just keep talking about big news items here.
Okay.
And then we'll get into the rest of Raw, because the rest of Raw actually wasn't bad.
It wasn't. No.
We had this match, which I initially thought 9 o'clock hour, probably going to be a throwaway. I've been calling, and everybody knows I've been calling for a few weeks, that I thought that Becky Lynch was going to interrupt the Ric Flair angle, the Ric Flair birthday party.
But a lot of people did that.
I know.
Yeah.
But I was one of them, and so I definitely wasn't expecting Becky Lynch during this match. Ronda Rousey and Natalya versus the Riot Squad. It was just a match. It was just a tag match. I thought it was just going to be a throwaway match. I wasn't really like... I didn't find it to be particularly good.
Right.
I didn't find it to be particularly bad. It was just kind of there.
It was there.
But the angle afterward, with Becky Lynch hobbling through the crowd and hitting Natalya, and then getting into this like really neat brawl with the crutch with Ronda Rousey, was just awesome. It really looked like they were going at it pretty good. Lynch no-sold a crutch shot. Rousey no-sold the crutch shot. They're in a pull apart. I mean, they actually had to tackle Rousey down to keep her back, which was pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
It was a great fire brawl. Becky Lynch is just killer. They send out the cops just to complete the Steve Austin theme.
Yes.
And they arrest her. I have the TDE wrestling meme up here where they're captioning Becky Lynch and saying, "You should be wrestling them. They robbed me." But I actually thought it was. I thought the better line from that little melee was Becky Lynch saying, didn't work again. My damn hockey's gone. Was Becky Lynch going, "Watch the hands, watch the hands. I have to hold up the women's championship with these hands."
I really like that.
That's a good line.
It was clever. Yeah,
it's a good line. It was just a fun angle, and I thought, I was like, okay, they march her to the back and they arrest her. That's that. Well, there's more. We come back from the commercial. Natalya is being helped up the ramp. From one crutch shot, I guess, is enough for Natalya. It's amazing that she was booked in a tables match a few months ago. She would have been paralyzed. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, it's Stephanie McMahon. So Ronda Rousey gets in the ring and she goes, it's time for this to end. And she calls out Vince McMahon. But instead we get Stephanie, and cue the giant groan from the arena and from the Tedesco household. Anytime I hear Stephanie's music, it's just like,
this is Mike.
It's like my finger grabs the remote and I'm trying my hardest not to press the power button and just change turn it off or change the channel. It's just, Stephanie is just go away television for me, and that's not a positive thing. And that's not like, oh, you're doing a great work as a heel. She's accomplishing it. No, it's really not like that. Not like that. It's just, her voice, the whole entire thing, when she opens up a show and she goes like,
her whole ambiance is just off-putting to you.
And it's like, oh god, I can't. Oh yes, from the tag match. Thank you for reminding me. The inverted cloverleaf from Sarah Logan. She added something to her arsenal, which is good because she hasn't added any personality to her character.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that. I really did like I liked most of what Ronda Rousey did in that tag match. She was more on point than she is normally on thrown together Raw shows. Right. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yes. So it's Stephanie McMahon in the ring, and she says, she goes to speak, and Ronda cuts her off. Says, I know you're out here to do your father's bidding. I just want Becky Lynch reinstated so I can get my hands on that ginger douche. She called her a ginger douche,
she did.
Which was
she did.
a really, really great little jab.
Absolutely.
I didn't hate that at all.
No, me neither.
And I'm sure somebody was like, oh, one of those scripted lines. I thought that was awesome.
That was good.
That had a little, little extra.
Little edge.
Edge on
yeah.
it. I like that stuff. I love it. And she declines to reinstate Becky Lynch. So Rousey says, you always claim to do what's best for business. Everyone wants this, even the ginger douche. It could be the very first women's main event in WrestleMania history. That means a lot to your legacy, Stephanie, and also to your daughters. A triple threat chant picks up. Stephanie apologizes and says it's a hard no. I was expecting at this point Ronda Rousey to put her in an armbar and just kind of like
do what she's normally done in the past.
Yeah, do what she's done in the past and just kind of punish her until Vince runs out to make the save.
Right.
But that didn't happen. I actually like this a lot better because it drags it out some more.
Me too.
And it's not like it's not like this angle is like getting tired. Like it's not standing on legs.
There's different layers to it.
It just continues to unravel and it gets better.
It is.
Which is actually rare for a long drawn out WWE storyline anymore. This actually, like, everything's kind of making sense, and they just give you a little at a time to keep you excited. They don't throw away the bathwater with the baby. They give it to you a little at a time, so it just keeps building that momentum. Because we're still a little ways away from WrestleMania.
We are, yeah.
We're about a little over.
What is it like?
A little less than a month and a half, but over a month for sure.
Yeah.
Until Mania, so we have to keep this going, and it doesn't show any signs of fading. Becky Lynch is still getting a phenomenal reaction by them painting her as like the anti-hero and the not chosen one, even though she definitely is the chosen one.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. She is being booked better than anybody else has in quite some time. Really, really in quite some time. The best they ever frickin' booked a woman, period. It's phenomenal. Really, really. She's killing it.
Fire.
She's got a great reactions. And so this story continues with this. Instead of putting her in the armbar and just forcing a match or forcing a reinstatement or whatever, Ronda instead takes the women's championship and lays it down at Stephanie's feet because she said that, if I'm not defending against the best, then this is just a gaudy accessory, which it is. It's a prop. It's a gaudy prop. It's a gaudy prop, by the way. And as long, she only wants to defend it against the best. And so if you're not going to do this, then she just lays the title down at Stephanie's feet and walks off. Great segment. Really, really good. It was just everything. It was.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Billy and I were talking about this before. What was great about this is with the whole like rumors going around about Ronda and what's going on after WrestleMania. Like, is she leaving? Is she not? Like, it's a little bit of that tease of like, if I'm not defending against the best, like we're not going to continue that. And it was a different layer to what we normally expect, and it's just. And I know I know Stephanie's off-putting to you, but again,
no, she was good in this. She was great.
Yeah. This worked really, really well. She was the only one that can kind of fight against this because also Ronda Rousey mentioned about how this is like, don't you want to do this for the women? Don't you want to do this for your daughters? Like, what example are you setting for? And she's the only one who could say that too, because somebody like Vince McMahon, that's not going to matter to them about the women and the daughters and all that. So, but everything about this just left you in suspense and to know, like, is Ronda leaving? Is she not? Like, what? And how are they going to evolve this story?
It's also actually playing off that big nasty rumor that Ronda Rousey's leaving after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But we'll see you the next night on Raw. You're not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere.
No, but and that's
she might take some time off. Doesn't mean that she's leaving.
Right? No, it doesn't exactly. But the whole thing.
In fact, I think I'm sorry to cut you
off.
No. I think Ronda Rousey should take some time off. Because less Ronda is
more.
Is better.
Yeah, less is more.
She's a special attraction.
She is.
She does.
I agree.
She should. If they're going to keep her on TV, she should be having more matches like she had against Ruby Riott at Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Where she's running over people.
Yes.
Rather than having these long matches where she has to sell a lot and do all and just kind of throw things together. I think Ronda Rousey can, and she's doing a great job. By the way, she's doing a great job. But I think just less is more.
Less is more with her.
I think we need a little less Rousey and either just bring out for segments like she did tonight, but no damn Like, I don't think any long
No, I don't think it should have any long matches either. I agree with you. Yeah. But I just find myself more and more invested into the storyline because now they turn the tables again. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know how they're going to incorporate, because now you have somebody who's suspended, and then you have somebody who's like
walking off. Yep.
Right. So now where do we leave us?
No doubt.
And it's also a good opportunity while we have this time for WrestleMania. Like even Alexa Bliss tonight, she was like, well, if Ronda's going to leave, you could put me in there. You know what I mean? Like it gives this whole other thing for the women to be involved in. Be like, oh, I'll be involved or I'll do this when,
Yeah.
It's not so cut and dry as it initially was.
But that's what a main event storyline should be for WrestleMania. It should be something where it's like, I'm actually excited to tune in next week to see what they do again.
You could do speculation, but you don't really know for sure.
And honestly, you don't even need to do something next week. You can drag it out for 2 weeks because that's kind of what they did from Elimination Chamber. Yeah. There was no real follow-up to Elimination Chamber last week on Raw. There was follow-up this week, and then we can do, again, maybe in 2 weeks again.
Yeah, I agree.
It's good stuff. It was really, really good stuff.
A+.
Very, very smart booking there. All right, continuing on, the other big news, and yes, there is some big news in the fact that Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman were supposed to have a match. They never actually had their match, and Braun Strowman just killed Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush with some running shoulder blocks. Oh no! Wait, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong segment. Dean Ambrose. Yeah, that was a nothing segment. Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre faced in a no disqualifications match, and Ambrose lost, which is fine, because they want to keep the illusion that he's leaving. If he might be leaving, who knows? It might be true. It might not be true. I have a feeling it's not true, but you never know. But they want to keep it going anyway. So he actually had a good showing against McIntyre and got a lot of offense, and they had a very, very physical match, which, me, I'm a big fan of physical matches.
Physicality, yeah.
That's my jams, man. And, diving elbow drop off the top rope. This was all set up, and we'll go into how this was set up later on in the evening. What happens is Drew McIntyre pins Dean Ambrose after Elias interfered, hit him with a guitar. We get Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley come to the ring. It's 4-on-1 on Ambrose. So Seth Rollins' music hits, and then Roman Reigns comes out. And they clear the ring. Reigns hits a couple Superman punches, and then he spears McIntyre down to an unbelievable ovation.
Be still my heart.
It was awesome. It was really good. I didn't think we were going to get any Reigns physicality tonight. I thought that Reigns was done after the opening promo. But there was more, and he looks really trim.
Came in as Joe.
Really good.
Came in as Joe. Left as Roman Reigns.
Exactly like you said. It was awesome. He did, and I personally want him to continue just things a little because I want him to progress, but he did just enough. He played into the Superman punch and the spear. That's all you need to do, honey. Just give a little.
Just do a little.
Just give a little. It's good.
Don't overexert yourself.
Yeah, it was just fun. Oh, and by the way, the theme music is just Birdern. Whoa.
Was that scary?
That was scary.
Okay. Sorry, everyone.
If Dean Ambrose is leaving, let's just, for instance, if he's really leaving, why even tease a Shield, the Shield reuniting? Why? Why even tease it?
A good question. Let's leave it to the chat too.
Why tease the Shield? Because they left Ambrose laying in the ring, but they didn't. He was just down from the beating, not from Reigns or Rollins hitting him. But they were Reigns and Rollins were walking up the ramp, and then they turn around, and look at Dean Ambrose, who was coming to in the ring, and then they just all stare at each other. Obviously teasing something. If the guy's on his way out, why didn't he just lay at ringside off camera where nobody can see him, and then
one or two things I'm thinking. And if, I know obviously Roman Reigns has been in communication with WWE, clearly, you know what I mean? But it could just be coincidental that, now because Roman Reigns is able to come back, that they're like, okay. And at that point, they're like, all right, let's just negotiate. What do you want? Do you want to do this reunion? Do you can we convince you otherwise to stay?
like Doug Lackey says, know when you're being worked. This is a work. They're getting everybody in a tizzy because of AEW, and everybody wants to leave for AEW, and it's just I just don't think it's the case.
No, I don't either.
I don't think it's the case. I don't think he's coming back as Jon Moxley and going to AEW and is going to be the AEW World Champion.
I think
not happening.
I think what we talked about before.
There's too much money on the table. Number one,
right? I think you and I spoke about this before. I have no doubt in my mind that he definitely was frustrated and he wanted to negotiate his contract and the direction of his character, but I don't necessarily think he was threatening to leave.
They didn't even say he threatened to leave. All they said was that he hasn't re-signed. He's not re-signing a contract or something like that.
You know, but I personally think he, like I said, frustrated, didn't like where he was going. Roman Reigns' diagnosis kind of went into the mix of things and the plans.
Yep.
Not really sure when he was coming back. So I think, but I don't think he's leaving. I don't.
Yeah.
What does the chat say?
Well, yeah. They're all just saying it's just the AEW thing. You know? Brian Farmer says, "Can I just say I don't care about Dean either way?" Okay, you can. You
okay,
sure can.
Yeah, you're
sure.
entitled to your opinion. Of course. We welcome opinions.
Jason F. So many people off the milk carton this week just for standing on stage.
Oh my God.
I think Doug's got to tighten up his requirements a little bit because he won't have a segment this week. He won't. There's got to be something. Well, the Ascension's definitely off. Because they were at least involved in a segment.
Yes, they were tonight, yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about... Okay, so we're going to talk about the Ric Flair 70th birthday celebration. They introduced a whole bunch of legends to the ring. The WWE superstars are standing on the stage. We had Shawn Michaels come to the ring. We had Kurt Angle. We had Sting. But can we just talk about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and his throat chop to Seth Rollins,
yes.
which Rollins sold amazingly?
He's like...
I mean, there was other news in this segment, but Seth Rollins and Ricky Steamboat were freaking awesome.
He stole it. Yeah, that was cool.
I just love that.
Yeah.
Steamboat comes out.
This is why Seth Rollins is great.
He's just chopping all the superstars, and then he chops Rollins pretty good. And Rollins sells it big. This meme doesn't get it, but all the superstars were lifting him up, and it was hilarious.
It was so
funny. Watch it one more time. That was just the best.
It was so funny.
I mean, really, I really got a good kick out of that. It was awesome.
that was quite
Steamboat
funny.
looks good. Obviously he's older, but it was good. They did a great video tribute to Ric Flair. They had Triple H and Stephanie kind of putting him over. They had a WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt unveiled for him. That I guess they didn't really get into it because by the time they unveiled the belt, it was 10:56 p.m. and there's no overrun. There's no overrun. So we saw this belt. It looked like they had all of his career accomplishments on it, but we'll never know unless we see a picture of it on Twitter. WWE will probably post something about it later.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
And then they finally introduced the man of the hour, Ric Flair. No Ric Flair to be seen.
Where
is he? And
we
go backstage, and there's Batista dragging a cameraman around. He goes into Flair's dressing room. We hear all this pounding. And then he opens the door again, drags the unconscious 70-year-old Ric Flair out, who
70
just months ago got rid of his colostomy bag after a very, very serious health scare. But he's back in the game, baby. Woo! And the camera pans up, and there's Batista. And he says, "Hey, Hunter, do I have your attention now?" Huh? Triple H gets out of the ring, runs to the back. Batista's nowhere to be seen. Agents and referees around Flair, and Triple H screams for Doctor. I mean, everybody heard of the rumblings of Batista coming back, but
I was not expecting this.
I was not expecting.
I think everybody well, at least our fan base was definitely thinking that Becky Lynch was going to be involved in Ric Flair and the kidnapping and this whole all these theories and everything. I was not expecting Batista, but I like this even more than the whole initial, what we thought about Becky Lynch being involved, Because it would have been a little bizarre if she was arrested and then all of a sudden it's she's back in the arena. Yeah. She escaped? She's,
I was thinking of things. I was like, maybe Triple H bailed her out.
Yeah, who knows?
This was way better.
Right.
I mean, not way better, but it was great.
It was
awesome.
great.
It was, and you know what? I love being surprised. I love it. You know, everybody, you know, like I'm one of them. I was like, oh, The Rock's in Atlanta. He's going to be, maybe it'll be Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania tag teaming against somebody. Nobody was talking about Batista, I'll tell you that.
But you know what's interesting about the star quality of Batista now? Like, it's not that, you know, The Rock and John Cena didn't have the charisma before, like, you know, going into movies and film and everything. But there is a certain, like...
There's an aura there.
Yeah, there's a certain aura that
Drax.
Yeah, because now that he's acting full time, he's really able to play into the character even more.
Okay.
And that confidence, you know, like not like I said, not to say that these men weren't great before they went into obviously their movie careers, but there's just certain.
Well, I mean, this is like it's not like, you know, Batista was a star when he left in was it 2010 he left.
Initially
he was definitely a star, but the movies, it's elevated his status even more. So like if Batista comes back, it's like, well, you know, he's not The Rock. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
But I know he's been in movies that have grossed just as much as The Rock's movies. You know, those Marvel movies are powerhouses.
Guardians, absolutely.
Guardians is awesome. You know, all the Marvel movies are awesome.
Yeah, I'm obsessed
but we
with
have
Marvel.
to say that because our brother-in-law works for Marvel. We have to say that.
I
But
like
it's
Marvel,
true.
okay?
It is true. It is true. And I have a really great Iron Man cross pen that I got for Christmas that was picked up off the inventory. That was awesome.
I know, and we went to the movie premiere for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, that was awesome too.
In the city. So
yes. Yeah, we're Marvel people. But, you know, I used to be a DC guy, and then I married Victoria. Now I'm a Marvel guy.
Now you're Marvel.
Yeah, you know, I'm just a freaking, you know, I'm a chalk guy. You know, I just love the bandwagon. You know, just jump on. DC's dying, Marvel's where it's at. Anyway,
Anywho,
Batista is a major star. And it's a big deal when he comes back. And I know people are going to be like, oh, you know, he's facing Triple H. We've seen this a million times. It's going to be lame. Two old guys in the ring, blah, blah, blah. This is a co-main event match. Easy.
I don't consider Batista and Triple H in the old category.
They are, though.
Maybe, but I don't personally see them as the older crowd. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, it's like Ric Flair. That's old to me.
Well,
he's 70 years old. You know?
Yeah. I mean, old for like an athlete.
Yeah, but
you know,
better shape than
slowed down.
Shawn Michaels. Sorry.
Oh, by the way, we do have a Quentin sighting in here.
We do, Quentin.
Quentin's here. Yay.
Hey.
But this was obviously more big news. I don't think anything trumps the Reigns announcement.
No.
But Batista coming back to face Triple H at WrestleMania. That's news. And you know what? That was we started Raw off on a high note. The middle of Raw was dominated by the Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey thing. That's a high note for me. Batista coming back, high note.
Beginning, middle, and end.
just great progressions. And that's not to say that the rest of the show wasn't good either. There's a lot of stuff to like on this show. There really was. After the Roman Reigns segment, we have a non-title match with the Revival, the Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on Aleister Black and Ricochet. And number one, just the fact that Ricochet and they were all out there means that Doug is getting punished because Doug said no, you know, that they're going back down. They're not going to be around. So that made me snicker a little bit. But
you're rude.
I know. I'm a terrible friggin' person. But this was... Again, they continued on. We talked about last week how this was a much better way of introducing new talent to the general audience.
Yeah.
They continued that hot trend with Aleister Black and Ricochet. There was no Gargano and Ciampa tonight, but we had Black and Ricochet teaming up to beat the Revival. It wasn't a long match, number one, which I love.
Me too.
While they were coming out, they did video packages for both of them during their entrances. So we... Remind everybody
exactly
who these people are.
It's
not like, oh, you know, they're on TV for like 1 week and now everybody knows them. Even though we have to, like, you know, Raw is 3 hours long and then we have to sit through SmackDown. Then if you're really a hardcore fan, then you got to watch NXT and all.
You have to do your research.
They ask you to ingest so much of the product, so it's easy to forget things, especially if you've never seen these guys before. And you know, so it was good. That was good. They get a win over a team it's tag team champions. I know a lot of people were pissed that, the Revival just won the titles and now they've done jobs to all the NXT guys.
Oh, get over it.
It's like, who cares?
Get over it.
The Revival are great workers. Let's just say, let me just put that out there. I think they're great, serviceable workers. No doubt about it. I can never take that away from them.
Oh, yeah.
But they have no personality. They do not connect. All their matches, no matter how good they are, people sit on their hands. But they're champions.
But just get over it, though. Seriously.
They're champions. It's a good rub for new talent to go over on them. It's not hurting them. The tag team titles are essentially meaningless on Raw as it is. Almost as meaningless as the women's tag team champions are.
No, we're not. We're not. Sorry, we're not.
Kidding.
Nope,
Sorry.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, and it's just a great way to introduce them. They did a couple flips. They did their stuff, but they didn't give it all away. They didn't show everything that they can do. It just continued on this successful introduction of Ricochet and Aleister Black. No champ in Gargano this week, but I'm sure they'll be just as delicately handled. In fact, I think that they're moving champ in Gargano more towards the SmackDown end because Gargano is facing Cesaro tomorrow. It's good stuff.
2 and 2, like we spoke about,
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned before with the Revival, I don't consider them jobbing to these individuals. No, because they had a history with these people when they were in NXT. And we're getting their whole, with the video packaging, their whole backstory and, more about the Revival. So anything is only helping them. And it's just showcasing, now it's more piquing your interest to watch matches with the Revival. So please. I don't want to hear it that they're like, oh, they won and now they're losing. Like, get over it. They're still champions.
Right. So, I mean, like, I just love that stuff. Like that's the way you introduce talent. It's not like, everybody just watches Network and NXT and they just should know everybody. No. So they showcased them. I would categorize this just as a productive match.
Yeah.
It was extremely productive
That's a good word for it.
To their introduction and the future. We have a question in the chat from Brian Farmer.
Okay.
Let me ask this question. What changed about Dash and Dawson between NXT and WWE that they went from popular to this? Well, they lost a lot of momentum, I think, from the injuries. They got injured basically back to back. I think Dawson broke his jaw, and then I think Dash Wilder tore his pec or something like that, or tore his bicep, one of the things. And they debuted after WrestleMania in 2017, and then basically they weren't around until the summer or fall of 2017. Lost all that momentum. But not only that, NXT is a very, very forgiving crowd. Sometimes they will people to be over, and they cheer for them, and they make up all these, cheer. And yeah, they're great workers. But I think sometimes, great workers trump personalities in NXT. Velveteen Dream is beside the point, because he actually does have personality and he is a decent worker. But they sometimes will glorify people that are missing it on the personality end, but not on the working end. So they go crazy for them, but it's a small little microcosm of the fan base. So when they come up, it doesn't transcend because now actual regular people who don't follow wrestling as much as everybody else do, that just tune in every week, they just watch them perform and they look at them and it's like, well, they look dull. Their personalities are dull. Their promos are dull. And they do great moves and they have good matches, but
what makes you stand out next to anybody else?
It's all dull. Yeah. They don't really stand out. They're not bigger than anybody in the ring and stuff like that. It's just, they just are. So
that's a good sum up.
Yeah. I think that's just like, that's a lot of the curse of NXT. Some of these people get like super, super over in NXT that maybe would not have gotten over as big as they do on the main roster. But hey, those are great career memories for them. And you know what? Being on TV is not that damn bad either. It's not a curse to be on the main roster and, getting paid and, having a good match but doing a job. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't think the Revival's
and it's an important job. Like, some people forget how important a job is of putting talent over and building them up. It's like, Mick Foley, like when he had to put over The Rock in like 1999, leading up to WrestleMania 15. like, he didn't complain about it. He knew how important he was to the success of WrestleMania by making The Rock look as good as possible. You know, that is not a bad job. That's actually a very important job to be, you know, to have that bestowed upon you. And their job tonight was to try to make Ricochet and Aleister Black look as good as possible, because Ricochet and Aleister Black are two personalities that are actually going to go somewhere on the main roster. The Revival, they have a ceiling. Ricochet and Aleister Black, their ceiling is much higher than the Revival's. So the Revival had to give them a shine and make them look good, and they did. I think that's a success. So, and I don't think anybody should really complain about that. They're on TV. You know, you like them, they're on TV. So there you go. Was I on my soapbox too long?
No, I was actually enjoying listening to you. I
don't even know if anything I said just made sense.
I thought it made sense.
Colson Rockroll is in the chat. I have never seen Colson Rockwell in the chat.
I have not either.
Hey, welcome to the chat, sir.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us live. The Revival are great workers, but they don't make me care. Heavy Machinery are more entertaining. See, there you go.
Yeah,
it's
entertainment value.
When it gets to TV, you have to be entertaining.
You have to be entertaining.
You have to have something.
Yep, I agree.
And you also have to work. So you can't be like, you know, No Way Jose, where I guess it's entertaining for like a week, and then it's like, oh, you can't work either. So back of the line. You stink. You stink. Moving on, I'm skipping over. No, I'm not skipping over anything. We have Elias in the ring.
Oh, yes.
Number one, there was this awesome video that Snoop Dogg sent to Ric Flair. If they have it online, check it out. It's awesome. We have Elias in the ring. Of course, he strums the guitar, immediately gets interrupted because that's just the gimmick now, right? By Lacey Evans, who her gimmick is just to come down. Dude, you can do the wave. You do the wave better than I do. Yeah. That's all she did. She just came down, waved, and left. Elias went to go do something else, and Dean Ambrose cut him off, and now he's just pissed. Ambrose says he wants a rematch with McIntyre. No disqualifications. We already talked about that match, but that's how it got set up. And the Elias interference in that match also got set up here, because Ambrose said he's a big fan of his, and he wants some, you know, he wants to make some requests for music. He asked to do a couple different songs. I think he asked for
Thunderstruck.
Yeah, he asked for Thunderstruck. He asked for Yankee Doodle, and he also asked for Dirty Deeds. And I wish that he finished it with Done Dirt Cheap, so everybody knew that he was talking about AC/DC.
Right.
Because I always think of AC/DC whenever I hear Dirty Deeds. So I'm always it's as soon as Michael Cole goes Dirty Deeds, and in my head I go Done Dirt Cheap. Great song. AC/DC is an awesome band. I don't care what anybody says. Anyway, Elias goes to hit him with the guitar, but Ambrose rolls under it and hits Dirty Deeds, and that's the end of that segment. That was good filler.
Yeah, definitely.
Successful, productive filler.
See, I always get like confused with Dean Ambrose because I really do like the hilarious moments that he brings sometimes. And I wonder if he like also like battles in his mind with like is conflicted with like, because he's really good at it, but I know he wants to be a little bit more serious too sometimes, but he's just so good at that like hilarious component. You know, he always gets that laugh from the crowd, and it's not like, because it's something that you would think Dean Ambrose would say. It's not anything where it's like a cheesy little, you know, cheap laugh from the crowd or whatever, you know, and it does seem sort of authentic when he is doing those type of stuff. So I don't know, like I always think of like, how do I want Dean Ambrose to be? Like, how do I want his character? How do I think he should be? How do I think his character should be? But something like this is, like you said, it was really good filler and just really good hilarity. Like that moment of that comedic relief. I like comedic relief.
Yeah, it's not bad. It was just fine. It was just fine. It could have been worse. That's for sure.
No, definitely.
All right, we talked about the Riot Squad match. I'm just skipping through here. Oh, God. All right, here's a little thing that I didn't like on the show. And yes, I got the memes online where it's like, you know, I'm watching Kurt Angle face Jinder Mahal, and everybody's like, oh yes, Mike is going to think. Well, not everybody, CJ. It was yes, Mike is going to say that Kurt should retire and he looks old and blah blah blah. That's not what I was thinking. My thoughts are always the same thoughts. How I totally get Kurt Angle looking bad and broken down to Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, because he'll probably wind up having some sort of match against them at some point where, you know, he shows a little bit of the old fire. Against Jinder Mahal? Against Jinder Mahal? No, yeah. I don't know. No, I do not get that one.
No.
I do. And yes, I know, like, everybody goes, oh, he's a former WWE champion. Yeah, like...
Yeah, but that was because... That wasn't because of his own merit, and it was like, oh, wow, he's this amazing wrestler and has this amazing character.
Mahal.
It was just simply because of his culture.
They were trying to get...
That's the only reason why.
They were trying to get into the Indian market, and Vince has a thing for guys with hot bods. You know, and Mahal had a hard body Mahal. That's all we kept hearing about.
You know, that wasn't because, oh yeah, he really earned it. So, yeah, no, I agree with you with Kurt Angle. I just look at him and I'm like, I just get sad. I really do. I really like.
He does look sad.
No, and you know what? It's not fair to him because this is one of the all-time greats, and he's having these stupid like little matches against people. And it's like,
well, I mean, Kurt won, but like literally from the moment the bell rang, he was big booted down.
Yeah.
Didn't get in a move until he fought up, punched him a few times, hit a German suplex, hit 3 more German suplexes, and then got the angle lock for the win.
He's got to be more with the superstars who,
you know, I just don't like. I don't like seeing, like, you know, like they bring in the legends and they embarrass them. Like that's just not my deal.
And here's why with Kurt Angle I get particularly upset about. Here's a man who went through a tough addiction, really like worked his way back into the good graces with the WWE, sobered up, like turned his life around.
Yeah, I mean it's a reclamation project, no doubt.
Yeah, but and this is how you kind of like. You treat him?
It's just odd.
Come on.
It's just odd. And then they parade him out later on for Ric Flair's birthday party like he's like this giant legend, but then they booked him to look like a goof.
That's what I'm saying. He's his...
Yeah, he won the match. I get it, but he didn't.
Doesn't
but
matter.
It wasn't like
to me, it doesn't matter.
That wasn't a good win. That was the...
You won against Jinder Mahal.
That was the opposite of a productive match.
You won against Jinder Mahal.
Okay.
That's you don't have to have bragging rights for that one.
That's right.
There's many people who beat Jinder Mahal.
Yes. That happened.
I could beat Jinder Mahal.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
What? Oh. Whoa. I'm tough, okay?
I know. Oh, God. That's scary. Anyway, and then they followed it up with a moment of bliss, which I actually forgot about. And, the moment of bliss, like, it's like...
Just why?
It's a car wreck. It's a car wreck. It's a train wreck. There hasn't been one damn good segment of a moment of bliss ever. Yet they keep parading it out there.
Another confusing thing about it,
like deep down, like as soon as Alexa Bliss came out there, deep down I was like, okay, Bruce Pritchard, first night on the job, can't you just say to Vince like, well, gee, Vince, like this is some bullshit. Like no, like. Don't send it out there. Like somebody had to read the script and be like, "Oh yeah, this is great. We're gonna have Alexa Bliss interview Finn Balor and say, "Oh, your title is covering your abs, and if you show me your abs, I'll show you my." And then get cut off by Lio Rush. This is a great segment. Are you freaking kidding me? And what is Alexa Bliss? What is Alexa Bliss right now? Is she a heel? Is she a face?
We don't know. We just called her weird.
Yeah,
that's what we call.
She's just weird.
That's what we said.
She's weird. But apparently she's also a McMahon. I didn't know that. I didn't know her name is Alexa Bliss McMahon because Lio Rush comes out. He's initially supposed to get an Intercontinental title match for Bobby Lashley, and instead he gets kind of worked into challenging Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship and taking Lashley's opportunity and giving it to himself to further the storyline that Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush are breaking up, which they already did break up at Elimination Chamber. Why the hell are they still together? That's beside the point.
They had a tiff.
But anyway, Lio Rush is like, okay, fine, I'll face you for the Intercontinental title later tonight, but I'm going to go to the back and work and stretch or whatever the hell he said. I can't remember because I'm not even looking at my recaps. I'm just like so floored by this. And Alexa Bliss goes, well, you can't go to the back because your match is right now. How do you know that? Who booked? You're a McMahon now? You can just book the matches? Like they fired Baron Corbin, but they forgot to tell Alexa Bliss that her power also left with Baron Corbin? Like, or was this Intercontinental Championship match already booked? And in that case, why do we have to go through all this, stupid stuff with Balor and Rush. Couldn't we just get to the damn match?
Man.
What the hell was that segment?
I know.
What was that?
She's another confusing one, though, because she's so good on the mic. And then it's like segments like this. It's just like, oh, honey, what is going on? Yeah, I agree with you. You and I both looked at each other like, wait, she has the authority to put on matches? Like, since when?
It's like, what? Why all this foreplay? Why? It was so, oh, God. It was so bad.
The only thing I found amusing out of this was Corey's reaction to Alexa Bliss when she's like, and I'll show you mine. And he's like, all right.
There's nothing funny about Corey Graves anymore. God, I am so... The commentary is atrocious on these shows. I know this is not breaking news, but it's bad. It's really, really bad.
No,
you know, Michael Cole is serviceable. I'm not going to sit here and say that Michael Cole is the shits because he's really not. He has to do a lot, but Renee Young, they had a chance with her, and she's just many different things.
You know what they gave her?
They told her to be edgy, and she's jumped the shark with it. She's totally jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Corey Graves is on too much television. 5 hours of Corey Graves per week. I'm checked out. I'm totally checked out. These shows don't need a third person in the booth. They really don't. It's just there's no chemistry between any of them.
That's the other problem.
Mostly it's just Corey Graves waiting. Most of it's just like it's Corey Graves waiting for somebody to make a mistake so he can jump on them. It's just dumb. It's like I'm so tired of hearing it. They never put over the matches. They don't really do a good job of putting over stories. I see things that in stories that they miss. I'm like, you should really hit on this part of the story, and they don't.
Hey, this is important. Say something.
It's just, it stinks. I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but A Moment of Bliss sucked. Let's just put it that way. That's all I got.
And Alexa Bliss is a McMahon now. So
that's all I got.
She's the adopted child into the family.
It's like, you know, the Super Bowl was called by how many people? 2. Do we need 3 to get through?
I don't know why you're asking me. I don't know.
Yeah, yes, I know they cut the sideline reporters, but our sideline reporters for WWE are freaking Charlie Caruso, who goes, the Revival has lost a match again for the second time this week, but let's not talk about that. I'm going to interview now. Blah blah blah. Like, so why even mention it, you moron? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like. Does anybody think before they give her lines? Like, we're going to make her deplete her credibility completely by having her say this and make her look like a total friggin' moron. I'm sure there's some talent there that I'm just not seeing.
No,
and there's
no talent there.
I've been watching wrestling for most of my life on Earth.
Are you delusional right now?
And I've been watching it very closely for the last 10.5 years. Extremely close. I mean, I have an eye for talent. I think I know, some things when I'm talking. I don't see it for Charlie Caruso, but apparently ESPN does, or either that or ESPN needs somebody who is so neutered, who is so just mindless, a robot that they know they're not going to have another incident on their hands where somebody's going to say something like Kurt Schilling. Charlie Caruso is not in danger of being Kurt Schilling for ESPN. She's just a mindless robot who will say whatever they want them to say. Maybe that's the talent. I don't know. But God,
they have a hard time with me.
God, it is just, she sucks.
They would not be. I would not be able to work for them because they'd be like,
And it's not her. It's not just her either. Like Dasha on SmackDown or Kayla Braxton or Broxton or whatever her name is. But Charlie is like, she's next level bad. Next level bad. Ugh. I mean, there's definitely a hole in the backstage announcers without Renee Young. I'm just saying, there's a hole in the talent there.
Yeah, because she doesn't actually know what's going on. She doesn't know anybody.
I actually have to check my my pulse right now on my Apple Watch because I'm getting a little too heated talking about all these commentators.
I didn't think Charlie Caruso could bring that out in you.
it just yeah.
I'm very sorry.
I'm only at 89 beats per minute. That's okay. That's okay. I can live with that. I have to. I can't not.
Well, you have no choice.
Anyway, Finn Balor and Lio Rush had a damn good match for the Intercontinental Championship. Like,
I was expecting it to be like a 2-second match.
I thought it was going to be quick.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought they were going to embarrass Rush, but Rush actually took the fight to Balor.
He had the upper hand tonight.
Yeah, like they had Rush get the heat on him.
The better showing.
Yeah, like he drop kicks him in the knee, and Balor's selling the knee like really wonderfully. Balor did a good job putting Lio Rush over in this match. There's no doubt about it. He sold the knee wonderfully. It really played into the match. Even the coup de grace off the top, basically on one leg, was awesome. But Rush just looked phenomenal in this. And the commentators were like, oh God, what a gutsy performance from Balor. But like my thoughts after the match were just, God, what a friggin' awesome showing for Lio Rush. This tiny little dude who has a big mouth. And yeah, I know the guy can work. There's no doubt about it. But I didn't expect him to be given a match like that in WWE.
I knew that
they should have put him over more.
I knew that he would wrestle at some point. I did not think it would be as quick as he has now. Like having these matches, against whoever, but like my eyes were gravitated towards him, like throughout the entire match, and like that's not to also discount Finn Balor's performance, but like Rush was definitely the star of the show in this match for sure.
I know it was really. I mean, it was phenomenal. I was really into what he was doing.
This little guy can work, like he's really good. He's really good. But you know what, though? He had a kind of the makings, like, when you saw him, in the beginning to be, like, really good in the ring. I kind of foresaw that him having a good skill set. But, but, like, like I said, I just didn't think he would wrestle as quickly as he has in the past few months. I didn't think he would have, like, a singles match or,
I just feel bad for him now that he's, like, there was a good showing tonight, and I was really surprised that, like, because obviously it's Vince in their ears, the commentators' ears, and I'm surprised that he wasn't like really impressed by like what Lio Rush did and didn't tell the announcers to like make sure that they put him over just a little bit in that match, because he looked, there was something serviceable there for Vince McMahon to use in the future, more than just in the 205 division, like this loudmouth that can, have good matches on Raw and still be a total jackass loudmouth. Like that's good. That's not a bad heel.
Great job, Lio Rush.
Yeah. I was really kind of hoping that Vince would just be like, well, goddamn, look at this guy. Cole, just say that Lio Rush gave a gutsy performance to. It's like, well, kind of make him like, like the Raw. Maybe he could. He can't be Mustafa Ali on Raw, but he could be something like that. It's good stuff. Anyway. Is there anything else that I missed? Yeah, we talked about the Bobby Lashley Braun Strowman thing, which was a match that never started. Just Braun Strowman killing everybody. Which is like, why did Braun even lose that Elimination Chamber then if he's just killing everybody?
I don't want to say what the thing we missed was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here it is. I found it.
So I want to give everybody like a story time for this. When the entrance came out for the tag team women's people, because I don't even want to talk about them, Mike turned off the television. He goes, I can't even watch their entrance. And the TV was off until he was like, all right, I think they're off now.
Yeah, like I heard Bayley's music hit, and then I saw Sasha Banks and Bayley dancing on stage, click. And I actually turned it off until the entrance was over. I just didn't want to. I can't. And it's just brutal.
Well, because they keep embarrassing themselves and saying that they're the first women tag team champions.
When
and
Beth Phoenix said
kept saying it, like, no, they weren't.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber event, she's like, oh yeah, the Jumping Bomb Angels were the tag team champions in the 80s, but it's been defunct since then, or something like that.
Right.
I was like, oh well. And then they're like, oh no, they're the first ever. Oh well, okay. All right, well, it doesn't matter. That's small potatoes.
Yeah, because
small potatoes compared to just a totally lifeless.
I just never thought in my mind I would root for Tamina and Nia Jax as hard as I was.
No, Jason, I will not say it. Don't you know? No.
What?
I am not saying their name.
No,
I'm just not saying their name.
We don't say their names on this show.
We don't.
They're like Voldemort.
Yes, I would rather say Voldemort in the time of the Muggle killings than that name.
We don't say it.
I will not say it. And
unless you're willing to pay us.
Nia Jax and Tamina are facing Bayley and Sasha Banks at Fastlane with the women's tag team titles on the line.
Win. Just make them lose.
These titles are already background titles. I don't know if anybody noticed that already, but and Nia Jax, who they're actually starting, like they started booking her like a friggin' monster at Royal Rumble. She looked, she was going against Dean Ambrose for a little bit until the sponsors were like, whoa, time out. No guys versus girls. And then they stopped that. But she was being booked like a legitimate next level monster. Yep. And I was finally getting behind Nia Jax. And yeah, they did the slipping out of banana peel elimination at the Elimination Chamber, coincidentally enough.
Yep.
And then she's losing to Bayley tonight on another slip on a banana peel finish.
They're not booking her. It's so back and forth. When she used to do her promos, when she first turned heel again, and she started having those promos where she was just like a monster, I loved it. And then she would do that random scream. They just don't know what to do with her. And I don't know how they're not seeing what to do with her. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like if I didn't know anything about the company and I was one of the new people like with creative and whatever, you just look at her and I just want to say to myself, monster heel. And they're not doing that. Like this is a woman who should be having 2-second matches and squashing and like until she has a worthy opponent she can have like a longer match and not even a long match with. But they're just not. But I don't know how you don't see it is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that booking. I don't like that booking at all. That's just not good stuff.
I wish you just kept the TV off the whole time.
I could have, and it wouldn't have made a damn difference.
You just like, there's a match.
To my recap, Bayley beat Nia Jax, and that's all anybody really needs to know. But don't let that detract from the fact that this was an absolutely excellent Raw.
Absolutely.
That's the last thing that we have to talk about from the Raw, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it was an excellent Raw. There seemed to be a little more zest in the performances tonight too. I know that they had a big turnover they had a new influx of backstage agents coming in with Hurricane Helms. We have Abyss backstage now. We have Bruce Pritchard obviously is one of the key is one of the key hires. Or not key hires, but one of the more notable hires. And Arn Anderson is no longer there either. So like that, there's a lot of turnover, but it seems like everybody was kind of working extra hard tonight. I don't know if it had something to do with the fact that Reigns was coming back or what, but it was just everything was really I went off a little bit on Charlie Caruso for whatever friggin' reason, and I don't like the booking of this Bayley match and Nia Jax going over Nia Jax, but this was a really, really phenomenal Raw. I can nitpick little things, but I'm walking away with this. Tomorrow I'll be thinking about the Roman Reigns thing. I'll be thinking about the Batista thing, and I'm thinking to myself, God, I can't wait for WrestleMania. And that's really all I want as a wrestling fan.
That's the takeaway from this Raw, and that's the kind of Raws, especially around this time of year, that you want to have. You want to have a great you just want so badly to be like every week you're like, okay, what are they going to do next now to this lead up?
Yeah.
I give it a solid 2 thumbs up.
Oh God, I give it 2 thumbs up. I'll put my 2 big toes up too. That's that's how I feel about this show. Let's see. So I was tracking it before, and I was hoping it would stay that way. We were actually at 98% and 2%.
Nice.
For thumbs up, but now it's 97.3%. I don't know. I don't know how it went down.
Yeah.
It really should just be 100%. But we have 145 voters. So far, it's been up for about an hour and a half, which I'm very pleased about. It's a 97% thumbs up. People agree that this was just one of those Raws that's just, they don't come around that often, but this is probably I would say that this is the best Raw of the year. I would say this is the best Raw of the year.
I normally am the type of person, even if I don't go by one particular moment of the show or one segment per se. But I just don't see how, and that wasn't even the only good thing about Raw. But the moment you hear that you're in Roman Reigns' intermission, I just don't see how you can't say it was a good Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it was just friggin' awesome
for me. No matter, I feel like if everything else stunk after that, I would want to mad. But I can't. But it didn't. So
yeah, it's just a great show. Really, really great show. And like I said, probably the best Raw of the year. maybe that means that this is the best post Raw of the year too.
Hey.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. See what everybody else thinks. But we had a lively chat tonight. We had a lot of people going. It's been great. It's been great. We really, really enjoy coming on here and talking with everybody every Monday night. We had Ashley in the ring, Ashley Richardson from the UK, also in the chat. Quentin did make the appearance, which we're very pleased about. Billy Hefner always listening. CJ Bowman always adding his 2 cents in there and always has something insightful to say. We have enjoyed it, bro. We have Jason, who was trying to get me to say the B&H connection, but I'll never say it. Brian Farmer, we're happy to have him. Zach Whitlow actually gave us a really nice compliment. He said, let's see if I can find it. I love compliments. Oh, I actually, can somebody remind me what I said? Crash goes, oh my God, Mike, you're a horrible person. I was, what did I say?
I don't remember now.
I don't even remember.
I told you you're a horrible person too, and I can't remember why.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I say that often. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's yes.
I'm joking.
Yes, Zach Whitlow said, Mike and Victoria, you two are amazing at this. You continually putting on great material and giving solid, unbiased analysis. Wrestleview is the true online wrestling source for fans.
Thank you.
Which I totally agree with. Wrestleview is a great website.
This is fun for us.
It's a great medium. We are building our little network over here with we got Wrestleview Weekly. We recap all the pay-per-view shows after they're done. We got post Raw every Monday, and I'm hoping to keep building this thing.
And it's not what it is without everybody here too.
Right.
Like
we're nothing
without people
everybody.
in the live chat and the fan base. That's what makes the website as good as it is. Also, because there's really good, devoted fans. So.
Yep. Oh, because I won't say the name. Oh, Crash is trying to get me to say the name. I'm a horrible person because I won't say the name. I got it. I see. Fun show. Great talking with everybody tonight. We thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
It's been awesome. We're going to sign off now, and we hope everybody has a great week.
Great week.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.